Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about essentials of a valid offer. So till now we've discussed about what offer is and what are the various types of offers. Now today we'll talk about what are the several essential requirements for a valid offer to come into existence or to come into place. So the first and foremost very essential requirement for a valid offer is that the offer should be capable of creating a legal relationship. So if you all remember, uh, when we've done section 10 of the Indian Contract Act, wherein we've seen that there are some essential elements of a valid contract, and वहाँ पे हमने देखा था that one essential element of valid contract was that the contract should be capable of creating, or rather there has to be intention of parties to create legal relationship. If you remember the case law of Balfour versus Balfour. So कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का बेस क्या है? कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का बेस ये है that there has to be an intention of creating legal relationship. So similarly, the base of a contract is an offer, because in first place there has to be an offer, acceptance, and then finally something which is enforceable by law, which finally becomes a contract. So for an offer to be a valid offer, the offer must be capable of creating some legal relationship. Now if your friend just offers some help to you, or if your friend is just offering a chocolate to you, पहले बोलता है चॉकलेट खाएगा क्या और बाद में चॉकलेट नहीं देता है. So now this is a situation wherein you cannot go and sue your friend in the court. So mere social invitation or domestic type of an offer would not lead to a valid offer. So one important thing about offer is that it should be capable of creating legal relationship. Now after capability of creating legal relationship, the other essential element of a valid offer is that the terms which have been written in the offer, they should be definite, they should be certain, and there should not be any ambiguous terms which you are using in an offer. Matlab, whenever you're communicating your offer, it has to be very very clear. All the terms of the offer have to be clearly written. Everything has to be clearly mentioned ki what your offer exactly is. So there has to be certainty of meaning. If you remember, there's one essential element of a valid contract which says that there should be certainty of meaning in a contract. So similarly, in case of an offer also, the words which are used in an offer, they should be certain and definite, and there shouldn't be any vague terms, or rather there shouldn't be any ambiguous terms in an offer. Now let's just take an example. Say I tell you that if you give me answer to so and so question, I'll give you a chocolate. या फिर ऐसे ही normally मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ that do you want a chocolate. Now here I'm not being specific about which chocolate. Chocolate in your mind could be a dairy milk, and chocolate in my mind could be a normal eclairs toffee. So here there's no certainty. Chocolate is a term which might include anything, and यहाँ पे there's no certainty of meaning. So whenever an offer is being made, it has to be made sure that the words which have been used in the offer, the terms of the offer are very certain and very definite, and there are no ambiguous terms or there are no vague terms in the offer. So these were the first two essential elements of valid offer. Moving ahead to the other essential element, the other and the most important essential element of a valid offer is that it must be communicated to the offeree. Communication of offer is very important. Offeree is a person to whom the offer is made. So if you've not communicated the offer to the person, how will the person come and accept your offer? Or if someone is acting in ignorance to an offer, that will not amount to an acceptance. Now let us understand this point with help of a case law. The case law is Lalman Shukla versus Gauri Dutt. So what basically happened here is that there was a person, Mr. Gauri Dutt, and his nephew was lost. लालमन was a person who was working for गौरी दत्त. उसके घर में servant था. So Lalman goes out in search of this small kid, and after Lalman goes out in search of the kid, Mr. Gauri Dutt, he issues an advertisement. वो ये announcement करता है that whoever finds my nephew, I will give them so and so amount as a reward. So Lalman, he had already gone out to search the kid. He was not aware of any such announcement made by his master, and Fortunately, Lalman finds the kid and he comes back with the kid and says कि मुझे मिल गया बच्चा, चलो आप रख लो, and he goes back home. Now on his way back home he comes to know about this announcement which was made by Gauri Dutt, and he goes back to Gauri Dutt and बोलता है कि मैंने आपके नेफ्यू को ढूंढा, चलो अभी मुझे रिवॉर्ड मनी दो. For which Gauri Dutt says no. अभी गौरी दत्त मना कर देता तो लालमन जाता है कोर्ट में ना. लालमन कोर्ट में जाके बोलता है दैट आई फाउंड द किड, सो आई एम एंटाइटल्ड टू रिसीव दिस रिवॉर्ड अमाउंट, द प्राइज मनी. बट देन गौरी दत्त सेज दैट लालमन जब बच्चे को ढूंढने गया था, व्हेन लालमन हैड गॉन आउट टू फाइंड द किड, लालमन wasn't aware about any such announcement, and when the act which has been done by Lalman is not acceptance of an offer, he has acted in ignorance to the offer. So please understand that it is very important that communication of offer actually happens. So here in this situation, courts, they gave their decision in favor of Gauri Dutt and said that Lalman is not entitled to receive any prize money because he has acted in ignorance of offer. He did not know anything about the offer. So from this we important essential element of a valid offer. Now, after communication, the other essential element is that whenever you are making an offer, it shall be an expression of willingness with an intention to obtain the assent of the other party. So it is very important that you make an offer with an intention to obtain the consent of the other party, because if you're just merely expressing your willingness, that will not amount to making an offer. Abhi, say for example there's a person who's saying that I want to get married by the end of this year. So here this person is just expressing his willingness. He's not making an offer. He's not seeking someone's assent in this particular thing. But say for example this person says to another person that will you help me find a girl, or I want to get married by the end of this year, will you help me find a girl. So अगर ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है तो यहाँ पे offer हो रहा है, because here something is, a person is expressing his willingness with an intention of obtaining the other person's consent. So please understand that mere expression of willingness will not amount to an offer, but an offer has to be made with an intention to obtain the assent of the other party, and this is something which we've seen in the definition of offer as well. So offer without any intention to obtain assent will not amount to an offer. It is just mere expression of willingness, or it is just a statement which has been made by a particular person. So now after this, the other essential element of valid offer is that there may be some conditions attached to an offer. Now say for example a person is making an offer to sell his car, but he has attached a condition that the payment has to be made before the delivery, or 50% payment has to be made before the delivery. So there can be conditions with regard to payment, or conditions with regard to the time, the mode of payment, any other thing. So there may be some conditions attached to the offer, and if there are some conditions which have been attached to the offer, those conditions also have to be abided by when performing or when accepting and finally performing the obligation. So there may be some conditions which are attached to an offer. After this, there's one more important thing which says that whenever you're making an offer, there should not be any such term as if someone is not following that, which will lead to acceptance of the offer. Now if I just take an example, say for example there's a person Mr. A, and he wants to sell his car to Mr. B for rupees 5 lakh. Now here what A does is, when he made an offer, he makes an offer to Mr. B, will you buy my car for 5 lakh? And after saying this, he also says that if you do not reply to me within 2 days, I will assume that you have accepted to buy my car. So यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है? The non-compliance of what? The non-compliance of reporting back or replying back to A. If B is not able to reply back, A is going to assume that he has accepted the offer. So now doing something like this is not correct. you should not contain any such term. There should not be any such term in your offer जहाँ पे if someone is not complying with that particular term, you will assume that or the offer is deemed to be accepted. So there shouldn't be any such term in an offer, the non-compliance of which will lead to acceptance of an offer. Non-compliance is basically if someone is not following something which is being given in the offer, or someone is not abiding by something which is being given in the offer, or rather you have included some terms like this wherein you yourself will assume the offer to be accepted in case a person is not doing something. So there shouldn't be any such thing whenever an offer is being made. Now, apart from this, the other essential element of valid offer, it may either be a specific offer or it may be a general offer. Like we've seen in the essential, in the types of offer that general offer is made to public at large and specific offer is made to a specific person. So offer may either be specific or it may be a general offer. And apart from this, there's a distinction between offer and statement of intention, invitation to offer, or communication of information. Now, say for example, a person comes to you and you sell, say you have a stationery shop and you have all the stationery items. A person comes to you and asks you what is the price of this ballpoint pen, and you tell that okay, one pen costs rupees 10. अभी यहाँ पे you're just communicating some information. There's no offer which you have made to that other person. Neither that other person has made any offer to you. So यहाँ पे आप क्या करिए? You're just communicating some information. You're just communicating some facts to that other person. So here in this situation, you will not call it as an offer. You will call it as a communication of information. And statement of intention is nothing but expression of willingness. If someone is just expressing his willingness to do something or not to do something, he's expressing what his intention is, he's telling what his intention is, that will not amount to an offer unless and until the intention has been made with a view to obtain the consent of the other person. So that will also again not amount to an offer. And finally, coming to invitation of offer, which is one more very important essential element. Invitation of offer is nothing but you see advertisements, you see all these hoardings and other things. So ये सब चीज़ें क्या हो रहे हैं? These things, they are inducing offers from you. All these shops, you see there are things kept on display. So why are these things kept on display? These things are kept on display so that people look at the things from outside and looking at the things, they like it and they go inside the shop for shopping. So all this thing is done with an intention that a person comes and makes an offer to buy. So invitation to offer is nothing but an invitation to induce offers from people. So an offer is different from an invitation to offer. ऑफर में क्या होता है? ऑफर में एक्चुअल प्रपोजल हो रहा है when a person is expressing willingness with an intention to obtain assent. But invitation to offer is a method, it is a mechanism of inducing offers from people, just like issuing offer prospectus by a company, issuing advertisements in newspapers, all these hoardings, display of things on the outside the shop. All these things amount to an invitation to offer. So these are some essential elements of a valid offer. And apart from this, there's one more thing. An offer can either be express or implied, just like an express contract or an implied contract. Offer ke terms could be something which is being expressed by the people, or it could be something which is implied by the actions of the people. So with this, we have completed another topic, and that was essentials of a valid offer. I hope you've understood this. So thank you, and keep studying, keep revising.